Okay, we're starting now. So, the food chain. So I don't want to start as yet. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna quickly play this video and record it so that I can give them ample time to join. Okay? It's about a couple minutes.
Yes, sir. Okay, food is super important.
Khalil is here, Mr. Black Hello. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How you doing? So I'm just gonna disable the waiting room because you guys are a bit late. So while we're waiting for the rest, we are gonna go on this page. Let me send it to you. And we're gonna get started quickly. All right, so when you're on the page, you're gonna see now 0, 3, 10, 20, the food chain. So George was telling me that you guys completed the photosynthesis topic. The next topic in advance to that is now the food chain. Understand? All right. So we're gonna start, and we're just gonna give the students some time to join. So let's get started.
Important. Super important. It's a big part of your day, right? You need.
All right. So in the meanwhile, you're muted, Khalil. You're muted. All right. Good morning, Mr. Blackwell.
Good morning, Mr. Black.
All right. So as I said, this is wait about 3 minutes or so, right, until the rest of the students join. But in the meanwhile, let's just watch this brief video summary. Again, the video link is right
I'm
here.
on the website, sir.
Are you on the website?
Yes, sir, I'm on the website.
All right, great. So you should see now 03.10.20, right?
Yes, sir. October 3, 2020, or October 5, 2020, sir.
Right. So this now, I prepared in advance. So now we're just gonna quickly watch a video summary before we start the lecture to wait until the rest of the students. But I'm recording anyway. So if they don't come, they'll have the video to watch. But if they do come, we'll just wait a little bit for them.
Need food to live, right? It's very important. You know, if you've seen many of our videos, that we love carrots. Carrots are a great example of a food that can give us lots of energy, that can help us through the day. Food isn't just for people. Here's a dog eating a treat. That looks yummy, for a dog. Fish have to eat, and so do bears. Look at this bear eating berries. It's kind of funny, a bear eating berries. That's only kind of funny. Enjoy your berries, Mr. Bear. Sorry, it's, enjoy. Keep eating, keep eating. Did you know even plants like trees need food? Did you know that? Isn't that cool? In fact, all living things need food. All living things need food. But how do they get that food?
Right.
That's a good question. That's what this video is all about.
Right.
To find out.
So we established the first thing that we're gonna go through, right? I'm gonna truncate the video in sections. So the first thing we need to understand about the food chain is that the plant, the autotroph plant, because when you went through photosynthesis, you learned that plants are autotrophs, correct? Yes, sir. I remember. All right. So autotrophs basically mean they make their own food. So the food chain, in a sense, they're saying starts with the plant, right? But if every living thing, such as a plant, need food, how does the cycle start, or how does a chain start, really? So we're gonna go through these two bolded points right here. We're gonna go and explain the ways in which other living organisms depend on plants directly or indirectly, and then we're gonna just explain the core principles behind the food chain. All right?
Out how living things get food. You will be learning about something called the food chain.
Right.
Can you say that with us?
I have to just keep checking if anyone's here. Good morning, Cameron.
Morning, sir.
All right, how you doing today? So you're a little bit late, but don't worry. We're just watching a quick video just to give other students ample time to join. All right? So you're gonna click on this link. You're gonna be taken to my virtual notebook. You should see today's date and then a food chain video pop up. All right? Tell me when you're on it.
The food chain. Yes, the food chain. Now, a food chain isn't an actual chain of food, like a long chain of carrots, okay? That's not what the food chain is, even though that would be really cool. The food chain explains how living things get the food they need. The food chain. There are
So let me ask a question, right? Can animals make their own food?
No, sir.
Right. So if they can't make their own food, then that means that the food that they're eating comes from somewhere else. Right?
The plant. And so I think that the food chain now starts with the plants, sir.
Right. That's what I was leading to. So if the animals can't make their own food, but we know that plants are autotrophs, we're essentially saying that animals, even though they're not herbivores or herbivores or omnivores, they indirectly need the plant for sustenance because the plant is what starts the food chain. Understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's continue.
Different parts of the food chain. We are going to learn about the different parts of the food chain to see how living things get food. First, we are going to learn about producers. Producers make up the first part of the food chain.
Right. So what would be an example of a producer?
The plants, green plants, sir.
Right, because they produce food. Right? So let's read this bullet point right here. Is everyone on the bullet point with me? The bullet point that says, explain the ways in which other living organisms depend on plants directly or indirectly for food. Are you on that bullet point?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I want now Cameron to read it for me.
Sir, the under it?
Right. So it says, all living things are...
all living organisms are interdependent on plants because plants take the food from sun by photosynthesis, autotrophs, and make them as food, and animals which eat plants and directly take the sunlight and glucose depend on plant and called herbivores. Wild animal carnivores and omnivores like tiger, lion, human being take the food from herbivores, and these herbivores are carnivores, which are died and decomposes in soil. Plant take them as nutrients. So by these, all living organisms are dependent on plants.
Grammatical error right there is my bad. Don't stay up late and try to write a lesson plan. But you get the essence of what I was saying, right? So a tiger we know likes blood, flesh. But we're saying it depends indirectly on plants because that animal that it's eating, such as a gazelle, because a gazelle is the primary predator of a lion or a tiger, right? That gazelle actually eats plant. So when the food chain is actually linked, carnivores, which would be example of a tiger, which eat meat or other living things, right? It depends on a animal, which is a herbivore, which would have depended on an autotroph, which would be the plant. So that's how the food chain is linked. Because once that lion now eats that gazelle, that body decomposes and goes back into the soil to make more plants itself. So the cycle always continues. Everyone understand?
Yes, sir.
So it indirectly and directly is affected by both carnivores and herbivores. Animals that don't eat plants and animals that do need plants for sustenance.
Producers are living things that make their own food. If a living thing creates its own food, it is a producer. We are surrounded by producers everywhere we go because every plant is a producer. Yep, every plant in the entire world is a producer.
Let me ask a question. Have you guys ever been to a park or anywhere that has a lot of trees or such, and you could feel the presence of the trees? Like, do you think that plants are living things? That's basically what I'm asking.
There's a forest beside my house, sir. So
Right.
yes.
But I want you to try, Cameron, after this class finish, go up to a random tree and shout. Right? You'll see very, very slowly the tree will react to you. So that's a cool fact. If you shout at a tree or any direct like emotion in front of you, the tree will react in some sort of way, whether by brushing its leaves or you kind of see the leaves kind of tumble a little bit. But essentially what I'm saying is that plants are in fact living things. They react same as us. So that's why we're saying that the food chain is alive, because plants make their food, so they have to be alive. They could make their food.
That grass, it's a producer. It makes its own food. Those trees, they are producers. They make their own food. These flowers, they are producers. They make their own food. Now wait, how can plants make their own food? You never see a plant in the kitchen saying, "Hey, I'm gonna cook something real fast. I need to make some of my own food. So, can you tell me where the pans
All
are?"
right. It's a pretty obvious answer, but let's see. George, you said the answer already, but how specifically does a plant make its own food?
Teacher,
How does a plant make its own food?
do photosynthesis.
Right. And did your teacher go through the steps, like give you the equation and the actual steps in photosynthesis?
Yeah, no, sir.
All right. So I'm gonna screen share quickly. All right. I'm gonna show you because I prepared a little slide for that as well. So I want to show you that slide before we continue, because it isn't logical for me to tell you that the plant makes food without showing you exactly how it does. All right. So I'm gonna pause the recording. Pause the recording.